The moment Galactic soldiers realized they were outmatched by Rule Number 9. Part 1, First Contact Gone Wrong. High Admiral Zextral stood at the bridge of the Cravaxian Empire's flagship, the Eternal Dominance, his 4 sets of crystalline eyes fixed on the blue-green planet filling the viewscreen. Earth. Such a simple name for what would soon become the newest addition to their vast empire. His iridescent scales rippled with anticipation as he reviewed the preliminary reports one final time. Primitive projectile weapons, limited space presence, fractured planetary leadership, he muttered, mandibles clicking in amusement. They still burn fossil fuels for energy. How quaint. High Admiral, his second-in-command, Subcommander Naira, approached with a data crystal. The humans are broadcasting again. They're requesting diplomatic contact. Zextral's secondary hearts pulsed with disdain. The messages had been coming steadily since their fleet emerged from hyperspace 3 solar cycles ago. Always the same, peaceful greetings, offers of cultural exchange, requests for dialogue. As if a species that hadn't even colonized their own moon deserved to speak with the mighty Cravaxian Empire as equals. Send the standard response, he ordered. Full surrender or immediate military action. Sir, Naira's scales shifted to a concerned purple hue. Our deep space sensors are detecting unusual energy signatures from several points on the planet's surface. They don't match any known human technology in our database. Irrelevant, Zextral dismissed. Their most advanced weapons are barely past the atomic age. Begin the first phase of the invasion protocol. Across the vast invasion fleet, thousands of drop ships powered up their engines. The Cravaxian Empire had conquered 17 worlds using the same tactical approach, overwhelming force against military targets, followed by systematic occupation of population centers. Earth would be no different. Deploying First Wave, the tactical officer announced. Targeting their primary military installations as planned. Zextral watched with satisfaction as the first wave of drop ships entered Earth's atmosphere, their advanced stealth systems making them invisible to human detection methods. Their intelligence suggested that even if the humans could detect them, they had no weapons capable of intercepting the ships at these speeds. The initial strikes were devastatingly effective. Human military bases across the planet erupted in carefully controlled plasma explosions, their primitive defenses useless against Cravaxian weaponry. Communications centers were neutralized by quantum disruption fields, and power grids collapsed under precisely targeted electromagnetic pulses. First wave successful, High Admiral, Naira reported. 87% of designated primary targets neutralized. Minimal resistance encountered. As expected, Zextral's mandibles curved in what passed for a smile among his species. Begin second wave deployment. Target their secondary military installations and government centers. But as the second wave of drop ships descended toward Earth, something unusual happened. The unusual energy signatures Naira had detected earlier suddenly intensified, and strange interference patterns began affecting their quantum communications network. High Admiral, the communications officer called out, his scales shifting to an anxious yellow. We're detecting anomalies in the fleet's neural link. Some kind of localized quantum disturbance. Impossible, Zextral snapped. Human technology isn't advanced enough to affect our quantum systems. Run a diagnostic. Before the diagnostic could begin, the main viewscreen flickered and displayed a message in human text, "Thanks for confirming our suspicions. Initiating Operation Pandora." Suddenly, alarms blared across the bridge as multiple drop ships from the second wave lost contact with the fleet's neural network. Others began reporting critical system failures, their pilots unable to maintain control as they plummeted toward the Earth's surface. What's happening? Zextral demanded, his scales now pulsing with angry red patterns. Unknown, sir, the tactical officer replied, frantically working his console. The drop ships, their quantum shields are failing. Some kind of targeted disruption field, but the technology is unlike anything in our database. Impossible, Zextrau repeated, but with less conviction. They're primitives. They barely understand quantum mechanics, let alone dash. His words were cut off as the ship's primary systems suddenly flickered. For a brief moment, every screen on the bridge displayed the same message, Rule number 9, never assume your enemy is showing you everything they have. As the message faded, the tactical display updated to show the true extent of the disaster unfolding below. The second wave of drop ships hadn't just failed, they had been systematically disabled and captured, their advanced technology now in human hands. And from the planet's surface, new energy signatures were emerging, revealing military installations far more sophisticated than anything their intelligence had suggested. High Admiral, Naira's voice was tight with concern. I believe we may have drastically underestimated the humans' technological capabilities. Zextrau stared at the tactical display, his mandate of easy conquest crumbling before his eyes. The humans hadn't been broadcasting peace messages out of desperation, they had been giving the Cravaxian Empire one last chance to avoid a terrible mistake. As if to confirm this revelation, a new message appeared on the main viewscreen, your preliminary assessment was incorrect. Initiating proper introduction protocol. Welcome to Earth. The first part of the invasion was over. But for the Cravaxian Empire, the real nightmare was just beginning. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, General Isabella Martinez stood before a wall of holographic displays, watching the Cravaxian invasion force discover their first major miscalculation. Her dark eyes reflected the flickering tactical data as reports streamed in from hidden installations worldwide. Phase 1 complete, her tactical officer, Major James Singh, reported. The quantum honeypot worked perfectly. They took our bait, hook, line, and sinker. Martinez allowed herself a small smile. For 3 years, they had carefully crafted the illusion of a technologically inferior Earth, letting the alien surveillance detect exactly what they wanted them to see. Every primitive military base had its shadow counterpart, every outdated weapon system masked a quantum-enhanced successor. Status of operation silent response, she asked, watching as more red dots representing disabled alien drop ships appeared on the tactical display. Teams are in position worldwide, Singh responded, pulling up a secure feed. The Ghostwalker units are ready. Permission to initiate Phase 2. Martinez nodded, her expression hardening. Send the go code. Let's show our visitors why you never judge a book by its cover. Across the globe, hidden bunkers that had been masquerading as abandoned Cold War installations suddenly hummed to life. Teams of specially trained operators, equipped with reverse-engineered alien tech combined with human ingenuity, emerged from their carefully concealed positions. In the skies above New Delhi, Lieutenant Riya Patel led her squadron of next-generation fighters, their quantum-masked signatures making them invisible even to the advanced Cravaxian sensors. Her cockpit display showed the alien drop ships still searching for targets that had never really existed. Remember, she transmitted to her squadron, standard protocol. Disable, don't destroy. We want their tech intact. The squadron acknowledged, then struck. Their fighters, appearing to materialize from nowhere, launched precisely targeted EMP pulses, modified to affect the alien quantum shields. Drop ships began falling from the sky, their systems completely paralyzed. Meanwhile, in the South Pacific, Commander David Okoro's submarine fleet executed their part of the operation. The aliens had detected their nuclear submarines, yes, but they hadn't realized these were merely decoys. The real threat lay in the quantum-shifted vessels that had been shadowing the Cravaxian fleet since their arrival. All units, commence Operation Undertow, Okoro ordered. His submarines, operating in a phase-shifted quantum state, began systematically targeting the support vessels of the alien fleet. Not with weapons, but with specially designed quantum tethers that would trap the ships in a state of temporal lock. Back in the Mountain Command Center, Martinez watched as reports of successful operations poured in from around the world. The Cravaxians had expected to find a fractured global defense, instead, they were facing a unified Earth military that had been preparing for this moment for years. "General," Singh called out, "we're detecting increased quantum communications from their flagship. They're trying to coordinate a counteroffensive." "Right on schedule," Martinez replied. "Signal Colonel Takeda. Tell him Phase 3 is a go." In low Earth orbit, Colonel Hiroshi Takeda and his team of space-based operators prepared for their crucial role. The Cravaxians thought they had superiority in space. They hadn't realized that Earth's apparent lack of space presence was another carefully crafted deception. "Team Alpha, breach their quantum frequency," Takeda ordered. "Team Beta, stand by for systems infiltration. Remember, we only get one shot at this." The orbital platforms that the aliens had dismissed as primitive communication satellites suddenly revealed their true nature. Quantum interference generators activated, creating a web of disruption that trapped the Cravaxian fleet in a communications dead zone. On the Eternal Dominance, High Admiral Zek Strahl was facing a nightmare scenario. His supposedly inferior opponents were systematically dismantling his invasion force with technology that shouldn't have existed. "How is this possible?" he demanded, watching as another section of his fleet went dark. "Their civilization barely has spaceflight." "Sir," Naira reported, her scales now a pale blue of fear, "we're detecting quantum signatures unlike anything in our database. The humans, they're not just using countermeasures. They're using our own technology against us, but modified in ways our scientists claimed were impossible." A new message appeared on their main screen, Lesson 2, humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our ability to adapt and improve upon others' innovations. As if to emphasize this point, the tactical display showed a new wave of human vessels emerging from Quantum Shift, their designs clearly inspired by Cravaxian technology but modified in ways that defied the Empire's understanding of physics. General Martinez studied the updated battle statistics with satisfaction. Phase 2 had exceeded expectations. The Cravaxian invasion force was now effectively contained, their supposedly superior technology rendered largely useless by human countermeasures they never saw coming. "Major Singh," she called out, "status report on civilian casualties." "0, General," he replied with pride. "The planetary defense grid activated exactly as planned. Not a single alien weapon has reached a populated area." Martinez nodded, then opened a channel to all Earth forces. "All units, prepare for Phase 3. Remember, this isn't about destruction. This is about sending a message. Time to show the galaxy why humanity has survived everything our own history has thrown at us." As her orders were acknowledged, another message was transmitted to the Cravaxian flagship: "Your intelligence was flawed, Admiral. You thought you were invading a primitive world. Instead, you've stumbled into a carefully prepared demonstration of why Earth remains unconquered. Shall we proceed to the next lesson?" The stage was set for Phase 3, and the Cravaxian Empire was about to learn why underestimating humanity was the last mistake many would-be conquerors had ever made. Captain Neela Patel moved through the Cravaxian command ship like a shadow, her quantum phase suit rendering her virtually undetectable. Behind her, her elite Ghost Protocol team maintained perfect formation, their movements synchronized through neural links that the alien sensors registered as simple background radiation. "Mirror team in position," whispered Lieutenant Jackson through their secure quantum channel. "Ready to initiate Protocol Omega on your mark." Neela checked her tactical display, projected directly onto her retinas. The ship's internal layout pulsed in shades of blue, with red markers indicating alien security positions. Everything was proceeding according to the simulations they'd run thousands of times using data gathered from the aliens' own reconnaissance missions. "Begin countdown," she subvocalized. "Remember, non-lethal takedowns only. We're here to make a point, not start a war." The Cravaxian Empire had made a fundamental mistake in their assessment of Earth's military capabilities. They had focused on visible forces, countable assets, and quantifiable technology. They had completely missed humanity's true advantage, our ability to think outside their rigid tactical doctrines. In the ship's main engineering section, Commander Zyxtal was growing increasingly frustrated. Something was wrong with the quantum core's containment field, but every diagnostic showed normal readings. It was as if the laws of physics themselves were playing tricks on his sensors. "Run the scan again," he ordered his engineering team. "These fluctuations are impossible." "Sir," one of his subordinates called out, scales shifting to a worried yellow, "the quantum harmonics are showing patterns that don't match any known." The alien's voice trailed off as the entire engineering section suddenly plunged into darkness. When the emergency lights activated 3 seconds later, the entire engineering team found themselves unable to move, trapped in personal stasis fields that shouldn't have been possible with current technology. Neela materialized in front of the trapped aliens, her quantum phase suit shifting to visible spectrum. "Good evening, gentlemen," she said, her voice translated perfectly into Kravaxian. "I believe we need to have a discussion about the proper protocols for first contact." Throughout the massive ship, similar scenes were playing out with clockwork precision. Ghost protocol teams systematically disabled key systems and contained alien personnel, all without firing a single lethal shot. The Kravaxians' own security systems were being turned against them in ways their designers had never imagined possible. On the bridge, High Admiral Zyxtal was receiving increasingly panicked reports from all sectors. His mighty warship, the pride of the Kravaxian fleet, was being systematically compromised by an enemy he couldn't even detect. "How are they doing this?" he demanded, his crystalline eyes flashing with anger and fear. "Our sensors show no intruders, no weapons fire, no." "That's because you're still thinking like a Kravaxian," Neela's voice echoed through the bridge speakers. "You see, we've had years to study your technology, your tactics, your ways of thinking. Every piece of surveillance you thought you were gathering on us. We were feeding you exactly what we wanted you to see." Zyxtal's scales rippled with shock as a human figure simply appeared on his bridge, seemingly stepping out of thin air. More appeared, surrounding his bridge crew with weapons that his sensors still insisted didn't exist. "Impossible," he whispered. "Our quantum shielding is based on a fairly limited understanding of quantum mechanics," Neela finished for him. "You see, while you were perfecting ways to manipulate quantum fields, we were theorizing about how to step outside them entirely. Theory became reality the moment we detected your first probe entering our solar system." Around the bridge, holographic displays activated, showing the true state of the invasion fleet. Ships trapped in temporal stasis fields, crews contained without violence, and Earth's real defense forces emerging from their quantum shadows. "Your empire made 3 critical mistakes," Neela explained, now standing directly before the Admiral. "First, you assumed that because we hadn't expanded beyond our solar system, we weren't advanced. Second, you thought our attempts at peaceful communication were signs of weakness. And third," she smiled slightly, "you never considered that we might have been containing ourselves by choice." General Martinez's voice came through the command channel in Neela's neural link. "Ghost protocol complete. All primary targets secured. Initiate Phase 4. Admiral," Neela addressed Zyxtal, "in exactly 1 minute, your entire invasion fleet will receive proof that everything you thought you knew about Earth's military capabilities was wrong. I suggest you pay close attention to the demonstration. It's not every day you get to witness why Earth has a reputation for being undefeated in defensive warfare." As if on cue, new energy signatures began appearing around the planet. Hidden installations, cloaked vessels, and weapon systems far beyond what the Kravaxian Empire had believed possible revealed themselves in a carefully choreographed display of force. "This isn't just about defending Earth," Neela continued. "This is about teaching the galaxy a vital lesson about humanity. We're not aggressive expansionists like your empire. We're not interested in conquering other worlds. But if anyone makes the mistake of trying to conquer us..." She gestured to the displays showing his completely neutralized invasion force. "Well, I believe the results speak for themselves. The Ghost Protocol had succeeded beyond even the most optimistic projections. Earth's defenders had proven that technological superiority meant nothing without the creativity and adaptability to use it effectively. As Phase 4 began, the Cravaxian Empire was about to learn just how badly they had underestimated humanity's capacity for innovation. Pride before the fall. The holographic war room beneath Mount Cheyenne erupted into activity as Phase 4 began. General Martinez watched with careful satisfaction as centuries of human military doctrine, enhanced by reverse-engineered alien technology, demonstrated exactly why Earth had been quarantining itself rather than seeking galactic expansion. Quantum containment fields at full strength, Major Singh reported, his fingers dancing across the neural interface. The Cravaxian fleet is completely isolated. They can't send distress signals or retreat into hyperspace. Dr. Rashid Karim, head of Earth's Xenotechnology Division, stepped forward, his dark eyes gleaming with professional pride. Their fundamental mistake was assuming that quantum technology could only work one way, their way. They never imagined we could take their basic principles and evolve them into something entirely new. On the main display, the trapped Cravaxian fleet hung motionless in space, their mighty warships now little more than elaborate exhibition pieces in humanity's demonstration of true military superiority. But the real show was just beginning. High Admiral Zekstral, still on his captured bridge, watched in growing horror as Earth's orbital defense grid fully activated. Thousands of satellites his sensors had dismissed as primitive communication relays suddenly revealed their true nature, generating an interlocking network of quantum fields that made any unauthorized space travel impossible. "You don't understand," he pleaded with Captain Patel, his scales shifting through patterns of fear and disbelief. "The Empire will send more ships. They'll never accept this defeat." Neela smiled, a gesture she knew the aliens found unsettling. "Actually, Admiral, we're counting on it. You see, this isn't just a defense operation, it's a message to the entire galaxy. And you're going to help us deliver it." Throughout the solar system, hidden human installations began powering up. Planetary defense platforms emerged from dimensional shadows, their weapons arrays demonstrating targeting capabilities far beyond Cravaxian technology. Fleets of advanced warships dropped their quantum camouflage, revealing designs that somehow merged human ingenuity with elements of technology from multiple alien civilizations. "Impossible," Zekstral whispered. "You've had contact with other species?" "Not exactly," Dr. Karim's voice came through the bridge speakers. "We've been collecting and studying debris from various alien expeditions and probes for decades. Every civilization that came to study Earth thought they were observing us. In reality, we were learning from them, adapting their technologies, and preparing for the day someone would make the mistake you just made." In the war room, Martinez opened a secure channel to all Earth forces. "Initiate protocol revelation. Show them everything." The space around Earth began to shimmer as humanity's full military capabilities became visible. Massive defense platforms, previously shifted out of phase with normal spacetime, revealed themselves in high orbit. Quantum accelerator rings capable of redirecting entire fleets activated around the Moon, their power signatures dwarfing anything in the Cravaxian database. 3 years ago, Martinez explained through the fleet-wide broadcast, "When we detected your first stealth probes entering our system, we knew invasion was inevitable. Your Empire's pattern of expansion made that clear. So we gave you exactly what you expected to see, a primitive civilization barely capable of spaceflight." On the Eternal Dominance's bridge, tactical displays showed the true extent of humanity's deception. Every primitive military base the Cravaxians had targeted had been a carefully constructed facade. The real Earth Defense Force had remained hidden, protected by technology that merged innovations from a dozen different alien civilizations with humanity's unique approach to quantum mechanics. "Your empire prides itself on military might," Neela addressed Zekstral directly. "You measure civilization by its ability to project force across space. But humanity? We've spent our history learning a different lesson. We became masters of defensive warfare, of adaptation, of turning an aggressor's strength against them." Dr. Karim's voice joined the broadcast, heavy with the weight of historical significance. Every civilization that came before you made the same mistake. They saw our isolated solar system and assumed we were trapped here by technological limitations. They never considered that we might have chosen isolation, not out of weakness, but because we understood something they didn't. The quantum fields surrounding the Cravaxian fleet shifted, allowing them to witness the full extent of Earth's military capabilities. Space itself seemed to bend as hidden installations, weapon platforms, and defense systems revealed themselves in a carefully choreographed display of technological superiority. You see, Admiral, Martinez concluded, Earth isn't just another world for your empire to conquer. We're the civilization that other species have been warning about in their legends for millennia. The ones who wait in the shadows, advancing our technology not for conquest, but to ensure that no outside force can ever threaten our home. The display of force was overwhelming, but it wasn't meant to destroy, only to demonstrate the futility of any future invasion attempts. As Phase 4 reached its climax, the Cravaxian Empire was about to learn why Earth's solar system had earned its reputation as the graveyard of conquering fleets. In the depths of the eternal dominance, High Admiral Zextral stood in silence as the final pieces of humanity's master plan fell into place. The mighty warship, once the pride of the Cravaxian fleet, now served as little more than an observation platform for Earth's demonstration of true military superiority. Your empire wasn't the first to try conquering Earth, Captain Neela Patel explained, gesturing to a holographic display showing the graveyard of alien vessels hidden in quantum storage around Jupiter. Every one of these ships belonged to a civilization that made the same mistake you did. They're preserved as reminders, teaching tools for future generations. Through the ship's quantum-enhanced viewports, the Admiral watched as Earth's full defensive capabilities continued to reveal themselves. What had appeared to be a simple planetary defense system was actually an interlocking network of technologies that defied Cravaxian understanding of physics. In the war room beneath Mount Cheyenne, General Martinez prepared for the final phase of Operation Pandora. Dr. Karim, begin the transmission. The scientist nodded, activating a quantum communication array that made the Empire's best technology look primitive by comparison. Broadcasting on all frequencies, including their secure channels. Every ship in their empire will receive this message simultaneously. High above Earth, thousands of quantum beacons activated, creating a transmission network that couldn't be blocked or ignored. Every Cravaxian ship, station, and colony would witness what happened when someone made the mistake of underestimating humanity. This is Earth command to all Cravaxian forces, Martinez's voice echoed across space itself. What you're witnessing is not an act of war, but a demonstration. For centuries, we've allowed other civilizations to believe we were primitive, isolated, and vulnerable. Today, that deception ends. The quantum fields surrounding Earth shifted, revealing layer upon layer of defensive systems. Weapon platforms that could redirect the energy of stars, shields that could withstand the force of supernovas, and technology that made their ships practically invincible by Cravaxian standards. Your invasion force wasn't defeated, Dr. Karim added to the transmission. It was contained, studied, and used as part of an object lesson. We could have destroyed your fleet the moment it entered our solar system. Instead, we chose to demonstrate why Earth remains unconquered. In orbit, the captured Cravaxian ships found themselves repositioned by forces they couldn't comprehend, arranged in a pattern that would be visible from their homeworld's most powerful telescopes. The message was clear, Earth wasn't just defended, it was untouchable. Admiral, Neela addressed Zextral directly, you're about to become the most important diplomat in your empire's history. Your mission is no longer conquest, it's warning. Tell them what you've witnessed here. Tell them why Earth's solar system is forbidden territory. The holographic displays showed the full extent of humanity's capabilities. Not just advanced technology, but the strategic brilliance to use it effectively. Every trap, every deception, every counter to the invasion had been planned years in advance. We're not interested in conquest, Martinez continued, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's unified decision. We're not seeking revenge or demanding reparations. Instead, we offer your empire a choice: peaceful coexistence or complete isolation. Try to invade again, and we'll demonstrate capabilities that make today's display look primitive by comparison. Dr. Kareem activated the final phase of their demonstration. Throughout the solar system, quantum gates opened, revealing glimpses of defensive installations that stretched the boundaries of known physics. Everything you've seen today represents technology we developed decades ago. Imagine what we're working on now. The Kravaxian admiral's scales had shifted to a pale blue of complete submission. All these years, he whispered, all our intelligence, our surveillance, you were studying us while making us think we were studying you. Precisely, Neela confirmed. Earth isn't defenseless, Admiral. We're simply selective about when we reveal our true capabilities. Your invasion force will be returned to your empire intact, along with a message: Earth is not a target. We are not a prize to be won or a civilization to be conquered. We are humanity, and we have chosen isolation not out of weakness, but because we understand something your empire has yet to learn. And what's that? Zekstral asked, already knowing he wouldn't like the answer. That true power isn't about conquest, Martinez's voice responded. It's about having the wisdom to know when not to use it. Your ships will be released in exactly 1 hour. When you return home, remember this: Earth stands alone not because we have to, but because we choose to. The next civilization that mistakes that choice for weakness will face capabilities we haven't even revealed today. As the quantum fields began to shift, preparing to release the Kravaxian fleet, the final message appeared on every screen in their armada: Rule number 9, never assume that a civilization's chosen isolation is a sign of weakness. Sometimes, the most dangerous species are the ones wise enough to avoid unnecessary conflict. The invasion of Earth was over, but its impact would echo across the galaxy for generations. The Kravaxian Empire had come seeking an easy conquest and instead became part of humanity's most elaborate demonstration of defensive capability in history. Earth would return to its self-imposed isolation, but now the galaxy understood why, and the legend of humanity's hidden strength would become a warning passed down through countless alien civilizations. High Admiral Zekstral, watching his fleet prepare for their humbling return home, finally understood the truth. Earth hadn't just defeated them, it had educated them. And that lesson would ensure the safety of humanity's solar system for centuries to come.